Winners need discipline, not motivation. Now, this is contrary to what a lot of people think. They think the more motivated we make people, the better they're gonna be, the more freedom they're gonna feel. But we know the truth is freedom's a trap. Freedom is the trap that dangles out in front of you, and when there's no discipline, there's no actual freedom. See, discipline is freedom. And when you take the discipline away from freedom, it's empty. It's a lie. I'm gonna give you the best example ever. The biggest fail of motivation not being enough is in parenting. So we could talk professional and apply this to professional everything, but I want you to think about parenting for a moment. And if you don't have kids, think of people you know that do. The reality is this, thinking back to me being an early father and my wife and I both working and getting up in the morning and having 2 children that have to be out the door at a certain time for us to get to work and do all the things we need to do, it was absolute chaos. But we wanted to provide that freedom for our kids. We wanted them to wake up and have a nice breakfast and have some iPad time and relax and really not feel the stress that we feel every day to get up and move. Ah, the trap. The real trap is we're lying to ourselves, because here's what we found out. Every morning was chaos. It was chaos. It was one kid getting up and then not doing as well when we told him what to do. The other kid getting up and having to change his outfit 17 times in a morning, not wanting to wear these shoes, not wanting to do this, not wanting to eat that for breakfast. So what do? We think back to these types of things. Discipline equals freedom. Motivation doesn't work. We first tried motivation. Motivation starts like this. Hey, if you get up tomorrow and you do all these good things, we'll make you a special breakfast. Or we'll do this. Or if we're good all week, we can do this week. All these dumb things we do as parents that rarely ever actually work. It's all motivation based. Guess what? In the workforce, it's the same thing. If you do this, this will happen. You can't give someone enough motivation to make them do anything. You can provide them the structure and the discipline to succeed, but you can't motivate them to where you want them to be. You have to actually give them the discipline. So here's the solution, right? In our house, I had to break this down because I was at wit's end. I couldn't focus anymore. And for those of you that have young children, they know what they're doing, and I don't care how young they are, they really have a clue of how they manipulate us every day. So the reality was, I don't know the exact age, but I think that they were extremely young. I want to say that they were 3 and 6, and we were right around the first grade and preschool timeline, and we had a time to get to the bus, to get on the bus, and to get out of the house. And it was crazy, but I found the solution. What would a perfect morning look like? Started with the end in mind. A perfect morning to me would look like both boys waking up to an alarm, both boys getting up and getting dressed, both boys brushing their hair on their own to the best of their ability for the 3-year-old, both boys brushing their teeth. Everybody was upstairs and would come down fully ready to leave except for the shoes on their feet. If the only thing I had to focus on was the shoes, it would be easy and we would leave on time. Now, what did I leave out? I left out breakfast. I can't control everything, but if they choose not to do their end of the bargain, then maybe breakfast wasn't an option. Sounds harsh, I know. Maybe for some of you, you can't fathom not having breakfast, but the reality is this. I started it. I set the alarm. Both kids woke up to the alarm. Both kids got up. Both kids brushed their teeth, brushed their hair, got ready, came downstairs. It took about 2 weeks and I did not budge. They had freedom, I'm using air quotes, on the weekends where they woke up and lived in a chaotic state. There was nothing they had to do when they woke up on a Saturday or Sunday morning. But Monday through Friday, when we had somewhere to be, we as a family were ready to go at the same time, and it changed our lives. It changed our mornings. It changed everything about the way we felt about each other in the morning. See, this wasn't just a solution that was challenging. By the way, those 2 weeks were challenging, but by sticking to it and building the habit, motivation didn't work. They had nothing to be motivated about except getting out of the house because that's what I told them was needed. The discipline was laid out, and I don't know that they truly would understand why it was so valuable until much, much later in years. But guess what? It changed our life because they came downstairs and they were ready. And they got iPad time. Freedom arrived when discipline was started. When they started their day with discipline, they now had the freedom. That's where motivation came from. Their motivation came after the discipline. The motivation said, if I do everything Dad says to do in the morning, I'm gonna get free time in the morning to watch my show. I'm gonna get free time in the morning to eat the breakfast I want. Guess what else happened? Our car rides were more joyful. It was a nice ride to the bus. They go to Catholic school, so one was wearing a uniform, the other didn't have to, and the one that didn't have to loved to change outfits. So we had to alter this a little bit. It's not always perfect the first time you build it. We had to also add, lay out your clothes the night before for success, because getting up to the alarm was hard enough, but once they got that down, changing the outfits was still a problem. So about 3 weeks in, we had it dialed in. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't days that were challenging. There weren't days where someone didn't feel well. There weren't days or exceptions to the rule, but I did not build our lives and our days around exceptions. I built them around the discipline that worked, that provided the motivation for my kids to have more freedom, for them to succeed better, and the ride to school to be a more joyful experience. Started the walking them to the bus, the kiss goodbye, the hug that wasn't forced because they weren't angry at you for having to get crazy before they get out of the house. I know there are moms and dads out there that so relate to this message, but are so scared about providing discipline in any capacity because they think that it's not worth it or it's gonna be too hard. The thing is, it's too hard not to do this. It's too easy of a solution to not put in the hard work on the front end to get it, because the motivation for the children to be successful is a life lesson. This works in the professional world too. It doesn't change. I cannot motivate someone to be more than they want to be. No matter how hard I try, I can't do it. I love to be the kind of leader that will make someone see the greatness inside of them and motivate them to get up and start their day and do great things and accomplish everything they want to accomplish. But I can't motivate them. I can provide the structure. I can provide the resources. I can provide the discipline of a perfect scenario that they see in their lives, and I can help them build it backwards, just like I did with my kids. The thing is, I don't have it all figured out. I struggle many days. If I wasn't crazy and chaotic leading up to those moments, I wouldn't have solved that problem the way that I did. So we all struggle. We all are challenged with these things. But you have to take chaos and turn it into order, and discipline to equal the freedom. You can't have the freedom without the discipline. Freedom dangled in front of you without discipline is an empty promise. It only makes you feel worse. So today, my challenge to you is execute. Stop worrying about motivation. Start focusing on the disciplined things that are going to change your life. Maybe it just changes your morning, but if it does, I can promise you the hugs feel better and the kids like you just a little bit more. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment. Tell us why this video matters to you and help us get the word out. And if you like videos like this, watch this next.